Welcome back to Andertons TV, everybody. Pete and I are messing around with some really expensive guitar amplifiers today.
That's what we do, man.
Exactly.
I don't know why I'm doing this, because I'm getting all... I'm doing this all the time.
So as you guys probably know by now, way back when Victory was first started, I was one of the guys that put a few quid in to get it going. So
really?
Yes, excuse my bias. So Victory's journey, I think it's 11 or 12 years old now.
Is it?
And Victory's journey, although it started off making a small selection of hand-wired amplifiers, it really took off when Martin designed the first lunchbox amplifier. Mm-hmm. You know, big thanks again to Guthrie Govan at that time for sort of having the concept and the idea for what that amp should do, and then amazing Martin, made a great sounding amplifier. And from that moment onwards, Victory's whole range went over to a printed circuit board style design, and obviously, although it's British made and still very high quality, it kind of sat in that slightly sort of more mid-price, mid to upper price. When the 10th year came around, there was a lot of like conversation within the team at Victory of like, what should we do to celebrate? And the idea was, why doesn't Martin just create the best sounding clean amplifier that he possibly could, and the best sounding overdriven amplifier that he possibly could? Yeah. And then it was like, and really, why don't we hand wire them, as that's still, I think, perceived as the most luxurious thing you can do. Yeah. I don't want to get into better or worse than printed circuit board, because I think that's more subjective, and there's great PCB amplifiers out there, and there's probably bad hand-wired amplifiers out there as well. You know, but anyway, so hand-wired, and then, as you've probably worked out by now, we missed the 10-year anniversary because there's just too much other stuff going on. So obviously this wasn't in the end an anniversary product. It was just the super flagship, the best thing could be. Yeah. And then I think the very last sort of iterations of the design was to try and enable the customer to be able to customize it as much as they could. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So you can choose face plates and handles, and most importantly, I guess visually, you can choose the leather that you want it done in and the grill cloth. And it is real leather. It's not a Tolex.
Proper.
Unless, of course, you don't want it to be leather, which is obviously
if you're vegan
up to
or
you.
whatever.
And then you can absolutely have this in Tolex if you would prefer.
Yeah.
So can we start with?
We should.
That, Mr. Pete.
Yeah.
I mean,
the MK Clean.
It's pretty straightforward, right? But it's pretty amazing. So take us through it.
It is pretty straightforward, isn't it? It was just to make. I can understand. It's to make like the V40 or V140, but the best version of that, and that's what this is now. So you look at it, and it'll have similar features, but again, it's all hand wired. You got proper reverb in there. And there was a few bits and pieces that sort of, I know we sort of looked at and changed a little bit because we thought that could be cooler.
The reverb in and out level is different to the V40, so you can now drive the reverb. You can affect essentially the signal going in as well as the signal coming back out of the reverb. Gives you a bit more control over what. So
it comes a little bit from a Dumble amp. You know, that's what that kind of is. You got a presence, a master, volume. Then you got your reverb in and out here, and then you got your bass, middle, treble, and your volume, and then you got a couple of bright switch, a bass switch, and some voice switches here. And that is so simple. Yeah, it's just a super simple amp, right?
I do as well. I know visually the amps have probably taken inspiration from the Dumble style. Yeah. But I do remember this whole journey from start to finish was probably 3 or 4 years of like when the first idea was seeded to when the amps came out. And definitely during that time, there was a sort of a seed of, should Martin be trying to copy, other amps that are well known for being great? And he really kicked back on that and wanted to do his own thing, especially probably with the MK Overdrive. And you've heard him talk about this in the official video. He drew a lot on his Cornford experience.
It's him. He is. It's MK, man. You know, and he is such a wizard with with sound and with tones. And when you say something, and he just gets it, he understands it, and I think he really nailed it.
But that's this is one channel.
Yeah, one channel.
Amazing reverb, great with the pedal board.
Effects loop, you know, all
Tons
the
of
things that you
headroom.
need. Yeah, this is a 1x12 cab as well, and you can see this. This is a glorious color. I'm not sure what it is, but the colors are here. The parrot, I love the parrot.
You can stay as conservative like Chris Buck. You know, Chris Buck just put a black one of these together, or you can go as crazy as you like within reason.
Oh, that's the blue one though, isn't it?
There's yellows and purples and oranges and all kinds of crazy
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Should we hear what it sounds like?
Yes.
I mean, I played this in the beginning, and everything is kind of on 12 o'clock again. You know, it's just...
It's the way you should start with any amplifier. Start at 12, and if it sounds great, then you've done it, right?
Exactly, that's what I feel. But these are 100 watt, right? So you do need to push. It's funny with the 100 watt, you have to kind of turn it up before... Turn it up, and the more you turn it up, the more it just goes, yeah, bring it. And the more you just go, yeah, bring it.
Definitely think if you wanted either of these for home, you'd need a aux or something like that, because you do need to push this a little bit to get the tone.
I never really agree with that. I just like to turn the master down.
Let's try it how you had it, and then we'll see what it sounds like turned down.
Okay, so how I had it was around there. I think I had a little bit more reverb.
And that's no
pedals at all, just straight into the amp with nothing. I've got some modulation effects running into the effects loop. And all the switches are up. I just plugged it in basically as it came. I would turn it up a little bit more.
Do it.
Because I feel like it deserves that sort of... See, the low end comes in. It's that 100 watt smack.
Oh, I love it.
It's the
snap, isn't it?
It's the snap.
Got it.
It's loud.
And you know what I love? That's why you saw my eyes, didn't you?
Yeah, clog over.
Because there's no overdrive, so it doesn't sound
clean.
like doesn't sound like you're going whoa. But then you look out the corner and you go, wow, we just hit 102 dB or whatever. It's like that's pretty loud and pretty clean.
It's unforgivable as well. I think people. I think it's an unforgivable amp to play because you can't hide anything. But it's that. It's just so dynamic and. Can you hear how I play?
Yeah.
I mean, lots of reverb on here now,
but there's a certain style of player, and obviously, you know, many of the guitar greats you would put into this category that go for amps with that kind of headroom and dynamism, don't they?
Dynamism. That's a good word. Is it a word?
I think so. Could we? Well, I want to go through like some of the different switch settings, but also as well, let's just hear what it sounds like at a lower volume, maybe with a couple of pedals, because people might be going. I think there will be a customer for this just going, oh my goodness me, I've got a man cave, I've got beautiful guitars that I own, that's the amp for me, but I'm never going to play it crazy
and I wanted
loud.
to match my 911, which
exactly.
I've got in a certain colour, or the interior of my Mac.
So it's got a beautiful speaker. In fact, really the only two bits that probably I got involved with that. I'm going to make one claim to I'm going to show you the Perspex thing that's sitting on here. It's
That's such a good idea.
My single input here. But no, we obviously we tried these amplifiers during testing, tried a lot of speakers to see what worked best. I wasn't surprised that the gold Alnico sounded amazing with that. I was surprised that the gold Alnico sounded the best with this. So, but anyway, cabinet-wise, it's a solid pine cabinet with a gold Alnico in it, open back, slightly wider body. Sounds incredible.
It sounds incredible, man.
Yeah,
it just sounds cool. So I've just turned the master down a little bit. I mean, you could try the bass and see what that does. Give it a bit more volume so you can actually hear what's going on. I mean, it's not
man cave volume.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kitchen volume, isn't it?
Or woman cave.
Woman cave.
You can all have a
just
cave. This is have a cave. That's
just
cave volume.
Just cave. As long as you don't eat cats and dogs, then it's fine. That's absolutely cave.
That's
man
really
cave volume. A little bit of Dane on top of that. And the bass, we did the bass. I'm faffing about a bit. Let's do the middle. I mean, it does what it says,
Punchy.
man. It does what it does what it needs to do. Treble. All the way up. Certainly does what it's. What you got? The bass switch,
Bass shift.
swish, Taylor Swift. Yeah. Especially if you're playing at low volume like we are now. I'm just gonna turn it up again to see what happens. Oh man, I love that.
No pedals still.
Nothing at all. But there's so much clean headroom that you have to be careful. I mean, it bite your head off, right? Bright switch.
Probably don't need that with a Strat, do you? I'm thinking maybe more with a
but I
Les Paul or
don't
something.
mind it. Yeah, you're right, but so with bass and that
I like
just
the bass shift.
Bass and bright switch just does that, doesn't it? I love the bass switch.
Yeah.
Bass shift.
Flippin' heck, man.
Hey, but
and what does the voice switch do?
It's a different voice.
Two-way.
So you obviously got like a it's voice up, voice down.
pushes the mid-range a little harder.
Yeah, a little bit. I think
when it's down.
It would definitely work probably more in collaboration or in whatever you say it. Yeah. I'll probably prefer it up. Oh man, that sounds great, doesn't it?
Good. So
It sounds so
we should hear this
really
with
good.
some pedals, but again, just whilst there's a little natural pause. Originally, when this came out, the idea was to give every single MK retailer one of these boards and these leather swatches, so you could go down and you could choose, oh, I want, you know, that panel and a different color logo and this grill cloth and obviously ultimately the leather.
And the corners.
But one of the things that the guys managed to do over the summer, which was cool, is they've replicated this with like a digital design store. So if you go to Victory Amps, whatever their website is, victoryamps.com, whatever it's called, and go to the MK section, all of this
you can build your own one.
You can sort of say, and it'll show you a graphical representation, obviously, of what
cool.
all these different color combinations will look like.
So once you're making your pause on one, and then you can make this on the other.
Software, you can have. There's a button at the end where if you press share, it creates you a sort of a set of renders that you can post on social or contact your. You know, it gives you a way of contacting your local dealer so that they can see what you've ordered, so there's no mistake when you order it and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I thought that was cool. But let's hear this with pedals. That
so
reverb is magnificent.
Let's just see what the reverb does all the way. So that's all the way in.
So does that adjust the dwell, like as in the more?
I think that's out is the length of how it comes out.
You know what's so weird about that reverb?
That's for sure.
Is it's so clean.
Yeah.
You're almost going.
It's super clean.
Is it a digital reverb?
Yeah. It's so clean.
But it obviously isn't.
It's so
I think
clean.
it's an Accutronics tray, isn't it? So.
I don't know. It sounds great.
There you go.
And of course I can put another reverb in my.
Of course.
You know, I can put a reverb
on reverb.
And I can put a tremolo on.
What's going through the front versus the effects loop now?
So every delay, tremolo, reverb goes into the effects loop.
Right. And then the drives
and then
the
the drives
compressor
goes in the
through
front. Yeah. So. Let's put a little bit of Cali 76 in the front. Let's try some drive, shall we? Just a bit of Dane. This sounds great, man.
Just out of interest, I genuinely don't know if this is going to sound good or not, but I know on the Duchess there is a bit of gain in the amplifier if you take the drive pedals off and just
full up on the volume.
Yeah, but maybe not. We can compensate on the.
Nothing.
It's much cleaner, isn't it?
There's nothing.
Maybe with a Les Paul it might do.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point in my opinion, that's the whole point of having an amp like this, that it's clean.
Yeah.
No matter how
Yeah.
much you break, it's just clean.
Yeah.
And then everything you put in is drive-wise, is the front, is your overdrive pedals.
Yeah.
So that was a Dane. Sounds great, man. Maybe a little bit more, maybe more drive. Woo! I mean,
It's fierce.
ain't no wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think if I was to use this, I would just have not super high gain. It would all be like some kind of little bit of a. That kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know. But the more you give it volume.
I don't know what you're going to jam out on,
It's
but
great.
can we hear the Les Paul?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, man, the low end in that thing is just incredible. Let's just take the Cali 76 off. Let's see.
Interesting. I wonder if you now don't need that bass shift in.
No.
You want the bass.
You need it in.
Yeah.
I'll put it in, dial it, because then you got an
Yeah.
just dial it back now. There's so. And it's not even loud. I mean,
Just in case you're wondering there,
that's the guitar over here that's like going.
it's somehow triggering a note on an acoustic guitar in the
A D,
corner.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Let's put a bit of drive on from the day. I tell you what, man, it sounds like the s'mores coming back from some speakers in the room at the same time. It's massive. It's massive.
I do.
It's
Again, I know we
humongous.
talked about it, the gold Alnico from Celestion is, in my opinion,
it's the best speaker.
they make.
Yeah, mine too.
It's crazy. It's the most expensive speaker they make as well, but it's still not. I mean, again, you're talking £300, something like that for a
yeah.
speaker, which
275,
obviously
300 quid.
is a lot relative to what a vintage 30 or something would cost you. But I would seriously, if you've got a nice valve amplifier and maybe it's got a cream back in it or something like that, I would honestly give it a whirl. Just buy the Celestion, the Alnico Gold, and just see it. It's not, it's no dearer than you going and buying a nice pedal. It's like, anyway.
That's so right. And it's going to change that amp forever.
It may well do.
Dude, man, honestly. Are we sure there's nothing coming out of these speakers in the room? It's tremendous.
That is a great sound. All right, well, look.
Right.
So that's the MK Clean.
That's fantastic.
We're now going to try the MK Overdrive in this sort of intermission bit. So we've hopefully prepared you. These are pretty expensive, right? So although I guess relative to other amps competing in the same space, maybe not, I don't know. But there's not a lot of change out of 5,000 if you want either head. And then obviously the cabs, because they've got such expensive speakers in, are pretty expensive as well. And they're all leather covered, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So I know that loads of you will be going like, wow, it's so expensive, da-da-da-da. But sometimes I think to myself, relative to what I know many customers spend on their guitar collections, if you meet somebody and they go, I've got a custom shop Les Paul, and I've got a nice PRS, and I bought a custom shop Strat, and da-da-da-da. They've
10,
already
15,
spent
20 grand.
4 times what it costs to go and buy one of these amplifiers. So I don't know, look, is it expensive? Yes, but is it expensive relative to what some players spend on their guitar collections? I don't know, maybe not. Purely and simply because you can't see it unless I show you.
We can put some sweets on afterwards.
Can I show? So I was slightly paranoid that over time the feet at the bottom of the head would mark the leather.
And they will.
So that's, if you buy a head and a cab together, you get this, it's upside down, look, it's supposed to be that way around.
That's so
You
cool.
get this for free, and there's a different size one with the handle cut out for the 112. So you get that with it as well, which is kind of nice. And they come with like a superior cover, like a padded, like a gig bag style cover, a quilted thing.
Yes, it's quilt.
Which again you get for free, which is sort of an upgraded version of what you would have got with the normal Victory stuff. And again, I don't know, this is an optical illusion, right? This head and this head are exactly the same size, even though this one looks taller, but that's just the fact that it's a different vibe.
It's weird, isn't it?
It hasn't got the wooden strip here. And if you buy cabs, matching cabs, you can have a 112 or a 212 for the clean, and they'll come as open back cabs, or you can have a 112 or a 212 for the overdrive, and they'll come as closed back cabs.
Is that a tool like that? Is that the same as that with it?
They're exactly the same actual cabs.
Right.
It's just open back or closed back. So
I can't stop smelling this, Lee.
So Muirhead, again, I reckon this will appeal to all you sort of maybe motor aficionados or just people who love British things. So Muirhead is one of the oldest leather makers in Scotland.
Fine Scottish leather.
I think they've been around for nearly 200 years.
Wow.
And in that time, they supply leather to the Houses of Parliament in London. They supply leather to Concorde, the Orient Express, all the major top-end car manufacturers, British car manufacturers. So it's such a beautiful tactile finish.
It is. It's wonderful, man.
And you know what? And there's another reason why Muirhead leather, because I remember in the early days the earlier days when Victory were looking at other leather samples. This probably is going to upset the vegans out there, so tune out for 2 seconds. But the size of the hide of the smaller cows that other leather manufacturers use weren't big enough to wrap a cabinet in one go. So you'd have to have a seam on. You'd have to use 2 pieces in a seam.
But these ones are.
But the cows that this leather comes from are big cows. So one hide does a whole cabinet with no need for a seam. Anyway. You can come back now, vegans. Right, so the MK is a 2/3 channel amplifier. So the knobs across the top are for my clean channel, clean 3-band EQ, level, presence and resonance, and 2 voices. If I drop down to the second channel, we have gain 1 and gain 2. So that's where the sort of the foot switchable 3rd channel sort of element comes in. They share a bass, middle, treble, and a resonance and presence control, but they do have independent volumes, and you can switch this so that either volume 1 is matched to gain 1 and volume 2 is matched to gain 2, or you can make them completely foot switchable and independent. It comes with all the foot switches you need. There's no reverb in this, so we are using an effects loop, and I have a UAD Del verb through the loop.
Del boy.
And I've decided to go almost entirely sans pedals here. Why not? I've pulled out the real clon to just use as a boost.
And you can win that, by the way, if you like and subscribe.
Absolutely. You might even win this actual one on the floor here. Yes, we're giving away one of our 2 clons when we get to 1 million subs. Right, so let's go back to channel 1. Channel 1 is still a big, clean sound. Don't be fooled by the name MK Overdrive. This can do...
Wow.
Am I now monstrously loud? I mean...
It's a different clean.
Yes, I think it's slightly tighter, more forward focused. That might be the closed back cab as well.
Yeah, 2 12s. Turn the delay off on it, because there's a little bit of
modulation there on there. Yeah.
There's also you can hear it wants to drive the front end of it.
Yes.
If you change that gain, which this does not do.
Yes.
Ever.
So yeah, I think there's a. It's hard to describe, isn't it? But I think that has a more American, fatter, clean sound.
Yeah.
This is a slightly sort of harder, in your face kind of clean sound. But again, it absolutely does it. There's 2 voices. Let's hear the second one. I think it's doing the same as that, which is just pronouncing the mid-range a little bit more forward. Okay, so let's get on to channel 2, which I was using in the opening jam. So in the opening jam, I had I wasn't actually using any pedals. I had channel 1 dialed for a softer. So that's, I mean, how would you describe that? Just like a low gain. But
wow,
listen to the dynamics here. It's like
that's
this
crazy.
Very much a classic rock tone. So gain there is set at 12 o'clock. I've got 2 voices. I have got a little bit of extra bass, a little bit less treble. Volume is set at about 11 o'clock. We've got a master volume over here as well, which is just above half. Resonance and presence. I mean, again, plenty of tone controls to sculpt your tone.
It's an evil looking amp, that.
Yeah, so here's what happens if I dump a clon over the top of that gain 1. Oh, prison.
Wow.
Mama!
Sounds incredible.
It's good.
Incredible.
Any excuse to get the old clon out. I mean, isn't that weird? You would pay for a clon nowadays what one of these would cost you, which, you know, that makes it look like insanely good value. Right, let's try Overdrive 2. So Overdrive 2 is heavier. If you've ever remember the old Cornford, MK50.
MK50, yeah.
That was the amp that attracted players like Guthrie Govan, Mark Tremonti, Richie Kotzen, I think all those kind of guys over to Martin's sound.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, all the magazines really wrote that Martin's sound was taking the sort of the Marshall Britishness, the boogie Americanness, and coming up with almost this like transatlantic driven tone. But hopefully he's captured some of that. That's no pedals, that's just...
Was massive.
We could. I don't really think that second channel needs
anymore.
And I haven't really done anything with the EQ. Let's see
Somebody
what the
lost
second.
on that amp.
Yeah, I think.
I love it. It looks
I actually
amazing.
think that one of the really important features on the MK50 and on the MK Overdrive is that the clean and the dirty have a separate EQ. Because I think it really does allow you to get the best out of both channels in a way that amps that share the EQ can't. Anyway, let's see what. Oh, we've definitely got more coming in here now.
Wow.
Oosh!
Massive.
Oosh!
Massive.
Yeah, so effects loop, lots of channel switching options here.
Wow.
I mean, I know we've probably played a lot more on that one. I have got a single coil guitar here as well.
Can I get anything near that Gailey thing you just did?
You've definitely got your amp turned up louder than mine.
That's because it's me.
So, right, so again, same kind of idea. I mean, it's a great sounding.
Lovely cleans.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, so I think what we've just demoed in the last 20 seconds is you can definitely get some great rock tones out of that. You can definitely get some great clean tones out of here. Right, let's dive over again. So we want to be on channel 1 is again. It's a really subtle bluesy. I might even gain that up a little bit there. Bass end on both these is mental.
Mental.
And then, not sure you're ever going to go here with this type of guitar. I was, prior to starting this video, playing my sort of, you know, horrendous Dave Mustaine style one riff that I know, and I'm not doing it again because you need a better metal player, but it will go into that 5150 territory. There's definitely shades of that element of gain in it if you want it. So look, there we are. That's the end. Pete Knight, we should jam out with you on the Les Paul and me on the S-Type.
But what colour would you pick here? If you were to pick?
I'm 1,000,000%. When I move house and I've got my new man cave, I'm 100% getting one of these, and I would go a slightly more Larry colour.
I'll tell you what, this raspberry here, like, I love that. On that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do some cool stuff. I was really, it's been really cool watching, because I think the guys at Dan in the Victory marketing thing is taking photographs of all of these amplifiers as they get shipped out to dealers around the world, and then they go on Instagram and you can kind of see where that amp's going. And it's really interesting to see the different cultures of, you know, and like what colours they like for those different areas of the world.
Smells so good.
Purple, presumably you would go for, wouldn't you? I don't know. Or is that all a bit overdone now?
Maybe I should go for purple, but...
so yeah, let's
sounds amazing.
Dive on over to the Victory website if you're remotely interested, even if you can't afford one of these, but you want to have some fun just seeing what different colour amps look like and stuff. It's a bit like if you go on the Porsche website.
911 Turbo S convertible, and then into the paint by sample, man.
Yeah,
I spent hours and hours in there crying just.
But yeah, or look, if you're near Andertons, you want to come down and try one of these yourself, you're super welcome. I'm not sure, you'd have to go to the Victory Amps website to see who's selling these around the world if you don't live in England, but hopefully somebody relatively near you is. And
that's it, like and subscribe.
Yes, please. Let's do a little play out with different guitars.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Au revoir.